So Twilight author Stephenie Meyer is at it again. Her new book, The Host, is now a movie. It's hitting theaters in just a few short weeks. The movie is about an unseen enemy that threatens mankind and takes over their bodies, and then it erases their memories. And Meyer is actually going to be joining two of the stars of the movie. We have Max Irons and Jake Abel at a very special appearance in the Chicagoland area later today. And we're going to tell you a little bit how you can meet them. But first, we want to welcome them to the show. So we have Max Irons.
Hello.
And Jeremy Abel. I'm sorry, it would be Jake. I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. I meant to say, your father's Jeremy Irons, so it must have been in my... I'm so sorry.
I am quite like his father.
This is Jake Abel. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
We were laughing. I told Nika that she had to get her phone and take a picture because after March 29th, you guys, like, do you realize that your lives will never be the same after this movie comes out? Has that soaked in yet?
Obviously
Hopefully
not.
because we'll be too busy working.
You'll be too busy working?
Hopefully because people will be hiring us.
I think that's all you can hope for off a successful film, I think, is to keep working.
Right. Okay, tell us a little, okay, because I don't know if we explained it that well in the intro there. So the story is something about aliens and they come down.
Actually, you explained it very well. We find it quite hard to sum it up succinctly.
There's so many different twists and stuff. Okay, but explain your characters and how are you both involved with this one girl? And how does that...
In a way.
Yeah,
in a manner of speaking.
It's slightly confusing. It's kind of love square, so to speak. I mean, when I meet Saoirse Ronan's character, Melanie, she's a human being.
Right.
But then, due to the invasion, she is taken from me. I lose her, for all intents and purposes. She's dead. But then she comes back to the cave after being inhabited, at which point...
Ian O'Shea...
Can you take over the next... Okay.
Yes. Through observation, begins to see that perhaps she is more human than we are at this point. She's kind, loving, honest, and through that he starts to fall in love with this creature that's not really human.
Okay, so again, so it's not a love triangle, it's a love box, is what it is. It's like a parallelogram, and then there's like all this different stuff that goes on. Okay, now I also heard there was a woman that was online and she got, because I wasn't sure at first, okay, how will this movie be as good as Twilight? What will happen? There was a female reviewer who said it is awesome. She absolutely loved this movie. And she said something about it having the most inventive kissing scenes she's ever seen in a movie. I have no idea what that means.
There is quite a lot of kissing.
There's quite a lot of kissing.
Well, what does she mean by inventive? Is there something that's really unique that we need to look at?
Maybe because they're
quite purposeful kissing.
Yeah. Well, and there's two living beings in one body.
Okay.
And at one point we kiss the same body in a pretty quick manner.
You two kiss the same body?
Yeah.
In a pretty quick manner?
Not at the same time.
At the same time.
It's not that
really
kind of movie.
confused. I think I'm going to have to go see. Oh, it's not that kind of movie?
I mean, if that's what you're going to go see, then it's that kind of movie.
Okay, all right. All right. And then, we did talk about, the chaos that's going to happen after March 29th. Are you guys, are you noticing that the Twihard fans are really into this? It's the same kind of crossover group that are waiting to see what Stephenie Meyer does next?
It's fantastic knowing that there's sort of a built-in fan base, and it's lovely having people who've read the book, love the book, and consequently, so far, love the movie. But I think if you worry too much about that kind of thing, if you become too concerned with it, it can mess
with
you
your
up
head.
a bit.
Yeah.
I think what's been most interesting is all those fans have seemed to sort of cross over, but a lot of the men and the boys we've met have, I think, been really surprised by the fact that they've enjoyed it as well because it's such a big sci-fi element.
Right.
And so there's something for them this time.
Yeah, guys love aliens and taking over people's bodies and stuff. Now,
date movie.
Did Stephenie say, like, is this going to be a trilogy like Twilight was? Like, is she working? Because that was another thing. People who saw it said, oh my God, you got to start writing another book.
She is in the process of writing another book. I think she has a very specific way of writing. In fact, I think she writes at night.
Yeah.
That's her thing.
She writes at night when she's not promoting, and she's always promoting something.
This woman is always out. And she have to write at night because I look at her and I think, how did that stuff, how did these creepy twists and aliens taking over bodies, like, how does it come out of that woman?
4 a.m. hallucinations.
Yeah.
Crazy.
After knowing her, though, do you see where that comes together, or no? Are you still...
Still sort of not. I mean, she's clearly in touch with something which taps into people's imaginations. I don't know quite where she gets it from, but she knows how to do it.
Yeah.
Her wheels are always turning. She's a very smart lady.
Right. Now, was she on the set all the time going over everything, making sure that it was close to the book, or were there days she wasn't there?
She was there as much as she could be, but she's not very present on set. We had 2 weeks of rehearsal. her and Andrew Niccol, the director, worked very closely on the adaptation to make sure that it was where they wanted it to be. And then once they cast us and everybody else, they really sort of just trusted us to find it on our own. I mean, notes were given, but I mean,
very rarely. I think we both, obviously, when you start taking on a character which has been created in the book and people are familiar with, you feel a bit of pressure.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that. Do you feel pressure? Because, you know, people read that book and they imagine in their heads what these characters look like. Do you feel pressure?
No, because not really. I mean, you've been cast by people. If Stephanie Meyer, who was directly involved in the casting, has put you in that position, then there's got to be some connection between you and the part. But then you're always going to bring a part of yourself to the character, no matter how good you are. And you have to accept that and kind of go with it and interpret it as you would.
I got to know, one of you learned how to drive on the set. Okay, you never learned how to drive, Max?
No, I live in London. It takes 3 times as long to get anywhere in the car.
It's very confusing. So you actually learned on the set how to do it?
That's it. Well, not on the set. I went through the traditional channels and drove on set.
Okay.
And drove like he didn't learn through the traditional channels.
You may need to go back.
Watch the film.
I'm going to go see the film. I can't wait to see it. And then you were both models beforehand. Either one of you going to go back to modeling after? Or were you not a model?
I don't think
so. I heard that you were a model. Okay, well, let's take a look. And this is Max modeling.
Oh, my gosh.
Look, you just want to take your shirt off and show what you can do?
It's getting hot in here.
All right. Otherwise, Max, are you going to go back to modeling or no? Oh, he doesn't want to see it. Just in case you're going to take it. It's off. It's off. It's all good. It's all good.
I don't think so. I think, you know, modeling was to get by when I was at drama school. And no, I don't think so. It doesn't give me the same love or excitement, not even half, as much as acting. So.
Yeah, and at this point, you're not going to need to. I'm telling you guys, good luck, much success. The cool thing is that you can, well, first of all, the movie's going to open. It's called The Host. It opens in theaters on March 29th. I'm telling you, there's going to be a line of screaming. You know, well, I was going to say tweens and mostly their mothers. They're cougar moms the next time you guys come into town. But if you want to meet the stars of the movie, Max and Jake, and Stephanie Meyer herself, they're going to be at Anderson's Bookshop in Naperville from 2 until 5 today. But you do have to call in advance and let them know that you're coming, I think. Right, Rudy? Do they still have space? Because I'm telling you, once they see that, okay, well, we'll see. Call today, call fast, call now, because, again, it's going to be very short before you guys are just absolutely, it's going to be crazy, mania. So thank you both for coming in. We appreciate it. You didn't take over my body while I sat here or anything, right? Like, I don't have to...
It doesn't work that way.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay, I got to read the book and see how it happens.